there, English learners. Welcome back to the English Leap podcast, your go-to English podcast for learning English and improving your life, all while having real, relatable conversations. I'm Erin.
And I'm Evan. Whether you're learning English, trying to improve your habits, or just wondering why your evenings vanish faster than your phone battery, we've got you covered. Because today's topic is one you're definitely going to feel in your soul.
All right, Evan, tell me honestly, have you ever come home from work thinking, tonight's the night, I'm going to cook a healthy dinner, maybe go for a walk, finally read that book. And somehow, you just end up doing absolutely none of it.
Oh, all the time. I swear my evening plans are like New Year's resolutions. They start off strong, and then Netflix happens, or my couch kidnaps me. It's not my fault.
Totally relatable. But jokes aside, we're serious about helping you make the most of your evenings and your English.
Exactly. And that's what today is all about. How to stop wasting your evenings after work and start turning them into the best part of your day. Not with boring routines or strict rules, but simple, powerful changes that work with real life.
And hey, if you're serious about transforming your evenings and your English, don't forget, we've created a free PDF guide for this episode. It's packed with key takeaways, comprehension questions, and grammar exercises to help you practice and improve your English.
You'll find the link in the description. Download it, use it, and hey, maybe don't let it sit unopened in your downloads folder for the next 3 weeks.
Haha, seriously. And as always, we'll be introducing some really useful intermediate level words and expressions throughout this episode.
And our friend Charlotte will break them all down later in Charlotte's vocabulary section, so you can learn how to use them like a native.
All right, let's dive into it. Starting with why your evenings aren't just leftovers from the day, but the launch pad for everything you want to become.
You know, Erin, for the longest time, I was all about that perfect morning routine. Wake up early, meditate, journal, and all that. But honestly, I realized my mornings weren't really the problem. My evenings were. They were silently sabotaging me.
Oh, I totally get that. It's funny how we obsess over mornings, but forget that our evenings set the tone for everything. Think of it like this. Your evenings are the backstage crew setting up the stage for tomorrow's performance. If they're chaotic, your next day will feel the same way.
Exactly. I remember staying up late, mindlessly watching TV, thinking I was relaxing. But the next morning, exhausted, grumpy Evan. Then I shifted the focus to my evenings, and that's when things really clicked.
And that's the secret no one talks about. Evenings aren't about filling every moment. They're about intentionally building the energy and mindset you want tomorrow. And that brings us perfectly to the second point. We need to stop collapsing into our couches like we just crossed a marathon finish line. Instead, give your day a proper curtain call. A gentle, intentional transition.
Oh, I love that metaphor. I used to close my laptop, flop onto the couch, and then wonder why I felt stuck in work mode. But now I take a minute, literally just 1 minute, to put on music, tidy my workspace, and officially close out the day. It's like a small ritual that tells my brain, hey, you did good, time to shift gears.
Exactly. For me, it's changing out of my work clothes and writing a quick note in my journal. It's not complicated. It just signals to my mind that the workday is officially over, and it's okay to relax.
Right. And once you do this consistently, you start to feel lighter. You're not just drifting into your evening. You're walking into it with purpose. And speaking of purpose, let's talk about structuring your evenings in a way that actually works. Instead of treating your evening as one long, endless stretch of free time, which usually means we waste it, break it down like a delicious 3-course meal.
Oh, now you're speaking my language. It's about having these mini zones, power blocks, that match your energy. First, there's unwind and recharge. Maybe you take a short walk, listen to music, or just stretch for a few minutes. You're not forcing yourself to be productive yet. You're just letting the stress melt away.
Then comes my favorite block, growth and creativity. After I've relaxed, my mind actually wants to explore. This is when I might read, practice a hobby, or learn something new. It feels satisfying because it's not forced. It's naturally the next course.
And finally, connection and reflection. This is your dessert. Time spent with people you love, or even just journaling or reflecting quietly. You're ending your evening feeling truly fulfilled, rather than just mindlessly drifting until bedtime.
Exactly. And when your evenings have this gentle structure, you don't dread tomorrow. You genuinely look forward to it.
And that's what this is all about. Not complicated routines or strict rules, but intentionally designing evenings you actually love. Now, even with these power blocks, here's something important. Don't obsess over having a perfect plan every evening. Instead, prime your environment so it gently nudges you towards what you want to do.
Oh yeah, this changed the game for me. I used to have these detailed evening schedules that I never followed, but then I realized just leaving my guitar visible in the living room rather than packed away meant I actually started playing regularly.
Right. It's like when you put fresh fruit on the counter instead of cookies. You naturally make better choices. For me, keeping my journal right by my bedside lamp makes it effortless to write at night. Priming your space means less discipline and more natural flow.
Exactly. Set your environment so it becomes your silent partner in achieving what you want, without fighting against your tired brain. And speaking of tiredness, this next one's big. Most of us say, I'm just too tired after work. But honestly, it's not low energy. It's scattered, unfocused energy.
Absolutely. I used to think I was exhausted until I noticed that if something interesting or exciting came up, suddenly I found the energy. That showed me it wasn't about lack. It was about misuse. When your energy is scattered, scrolling, zoning out, doing random things, it drains fast.
Exactly. I started timing myself and noticed that even 20 minutes spent on a creative activity felt amazing. Far better than 2 hours of drifting from one distraction to another.
And it's not about forcing productivity. It's about channeling energy consciously. Pick just one meaningful thing. Do it for a short period. Watch your evening mood shift dramatically.
Yes. And this leads us straight into something many of us struggle with.
Let's talk honestly about Netflix, or any streaming platform. Entertainment is wonderful, but too often it becomes a form of escape. Evan, have you ever gotten stuck in that loop?
Oh, countless times. I'd start with just one episode and somehow finish an entire season. The problem wasn't Netflix itself. It was the way I was using it, as an escape instead of intentional relaxation.
Exactly. It's all about choosing shows or films intentionally, not falling into that autoplay trap. I've found that watching something with a finite ending, like a movie or a documentary, feels refreshing. You enjoy it, and then you're free to move on.
That's such a great tip. Swapping endless series for films or shows with definite endings has completely changed how I unwind. It's entertainment without the regret of lost time.
And once you start watching intentionally, it frees your evening up for more fulfilling things. Speaking of freeing up your evenings, here's one of my favorite strategies: habit stacking. It's about effortlessly adding good habits into routines you already have, instead of forcing brand new ones into your busy evening.
I love habit stacking. It totally changed my evenings. For instance, every night when I brush my teeth, I listen to a quick podcast. It's become so automatic that I don't even think about it anymore. It's just second nature.
That's the beauty of it. No extra effort, just smarter habits. For me, cooking dinner now means mentally reviewing 3 things I'm grateful for. It makes ordinary moments meaningful without any extra pressure.
Exactly. Stack your habits gently. Don't stack your stress. And honestly, once you start stacking simple habits, your evenings transform from chaotic to calming.
And that calmness perfectly sets you up for the last, and honestly, most powerful, evening practice.
Ending your day with a quick reflection is like hitting a reset button for your mind. It helps you close the day thoughtfully rather than drifting into tomorrow with unfinished mental loops.
Totally. Before bed, I simply ask myself 3 questions. What gave me energy today? What drained me? And What am I proud of? It takes just 2 minutes, but the clarity and peace it brings is incredible.
I started doing this recently, and I found it genuinely surprising how much clearer my head feels. It's like tidying up your mental space. Just a quick reset. And suddenly you sleep better, wake up better, and live better.
Couldn't have said it better. Reflection isn't about creating more work. It's about giving yourself closure each night so you can fully embrace tomorrow.
All right, so we've covered some pretty powerful strategies today, and we hope they genuinely help you reclaim your evenings and turn them into moments that count.
Definitely. And along the way, we introduced some interesting intermediate level vocabulary that might be new for some of you. But don't worry. We've got Charlotte here to break them all down clearly in Charlotte's vocabulary section.
Charlotte, take it away.
Hi everyone. Charlotte here. Let's unpack some intermediate level words and phrases from today's conversation to help you sound more fluent and natural in English. Here we go. Launchpad, meaning a starting point or place to begin something new and exciting. Example, my first job served as a launchpad for my entire career. Sabotage, meaning to deliberately damage, obstruct, or ruin something. Example, she didn't want to sabotage her health goals by eating unhealthy snacks. Obsess, meaning to be overly preoccupied with something or someone. Example, he tends to obsess about minor details instead of looking at the big picture. Crew, meaning a group of people who work together, often behind the scenes. Example, the crew backstage made sure everything ran smoothly during the concert. Grumpy, meaning irritable or bad-tempered. Example, I feel a bit grumpy in the morning before I've had my coffee. Intentional, meaning done with purpose and deliberate effort. Example, she's very intentional about how she spends her free time. Collapse, meaning to fall down suddenly or fail completely. Example, after a long day at work, I just collapse onto the couch. Ritual, meaning a set of actions performed regularly, often with symbolic meaning. Example, my evening ritual includes reading a book for 10 minutes before bed. Drift, meaning to move slowly or aimlessly, often without direction or purpose. Example, without clear goals, it's easy to drift through your career. Dread, meaning to feel anxious or worried about something that is going to happen. Example, she used to dread Monday mornings until she changed her evening routine. Chaotic, meaning completely confused or disorganized. Example, the classroom became chaotic when the teacher left briefly. Incredible, meaning amazing or extremely impressive. Example, the progress he's made with his English skills is truly incredible. And that's it for today's vocabulary. Try using one or two of these words this week and watch how naturally they become part of your language. See you next time. Thank you, Charlotte. Those explanations always make everything so clear.
Absolutely. And remember, everyone, the power to change your evenings is in your hands. Take these tips, experiment with them, and see how they make your evenings better.
Exactly. Keep growing, keep learning, and most importantly, enjoy the journey. We'll see you next episode.
Bye for now.
Hello, and welcome to the English Learning Podcast, where we help you improve your English in fun and effective ways. I'm Jason, your host, and today we have an exciting topic that might surprise you.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. Have you ever wondered if you can learn English while sleeping? Sounds too good to be true, right?
Well, it's actually possible. There's growing research that suggests your brain continues to process information even when you're asleep. So, listening to English while you sleep might help reinforce what you've learned during the day.
Exactly. And in today's episode, we'll explore how this works, what you should listen to, and how to use this technique effectively to improve your English skills.
Whether you're struggling with vocabulary, pronunciation, or just want to expose yourself to more English, this method can be a great way to boost your learning effortlessly.
That's right. But before we dive in, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and follow us for more English learning tips.
All right. So, let's get started and talk about the science behind learning while sleeping. How does it actually work? Let's find out. So, Julia, let's get into the science behind this. Can we really learn English while we're sleeping?
Great question, Jason. The short answer is yes, but not in the way most people think. You won't wake up fluent in English overnight, but your brain does continue to process information while you sleep.
That's fascinating. So, what exactly happens in our brains when we sleep?
Well, when we sleep, our brain goes through different sleep cycles, including deep sleep and REM sleep. During these stages, the brain organizes and strengthens memories. This process is called memory consolidation. It helps store new information and makes learning more effective.
Oh, so that means if we've been studying English during the day, our brain continues working on it while we sleep?
Exactly. Scientists have found that when people hear words, phrases, or even music during sleep, their brains react to them. This means that if you listen to English conversations, vocabulary, or phrases while sleeping, your brain may reinforce what you've already learned.
That's incredible. Are there any studies that prove this?
Yes! There was an interesting study conducted by Swiss researchers. They had two groups of people study a foreign language. One group listened to the words while sleeping, and the other didn't. Guess what? The group that listened to the words during sleep remembered them better the next day.
Wow, that's amazing. So, this proves that our brains can absorb information passively while we sleep.
Exactly. But there's one important thing to remember. Sleep learning works best as a supplement to active learning. You still need to practice speaking, writing, and listening during the day.
That makes sense. So, if someone wants to use this technique, what's the best way to do it?
Great question. That's what we'll talk about next. How to use this method effectively for English learning.
All right. Now that we understand the science behind learning while sleeping, let's talk about how to actually use this method for English learning. Julia, what's the first step?
The first step is choosing the right type of content. Not all English audio is good for sleep learning. You want something clear, slow, and repetitive so your brain can process it easily.
That makes sense. So, what are some good examples?
Good options include basic English conversations, dialogues between native speakers, common English phrases and vocabulary repeated words help memory, sleep-friendly podcasts or audiobooks with slow, clear pronunciation, positive affirmations in English for confidence building.
I love that. So instead of playing a random English movie, it's better to listen to structured and simple content, right?
Exactly. Movies or fast conversations can be too complicated, and your brain might struggle to process them while sleeping.
Got it. Now, after choosing the right content, what's the next step?
The second step is setting up your environment properly. You need to 1. Keep the volume low. It should be soft and relaxing, not distracting. 2. Use a sleep timer, so the audio doesn't play all night. 3. Choose the right device. A small speaker or comfortable headphones work best.
That's great advice. So, instead of blasting English lessons all night, it's better to play them softly and for a limited time.
Exactly. Your brain can still pick up information even at a low volume.
Okay, so let's say someone does this every night. How can they know if it's working?
Great question. The best way to check your progress is to test yourself the next day. For example, repeat the words you heard and see if you remember them. Write down key phrases from the audio. Try using them in a sentence during the day.
That's a smart approach. So, by reviewing what you heard during sleep, you reinforce what you've learned.
Exactly. The key is combining sleep learning with active practice. If you do both, you'll notice real improvement over time.
Awesome! Now that we know how to use this method, let's talk about what kind of content works best for sleep learning. Stay with us. Now that we know how to set up sleep learning, let's talk about the most important part: what to actually listen to while sleeping. Julia, what are the best types of content for this?
Great question, Jason. Not all audio is effective for sleep learning. You need content that is clear, slow-paced, and repetitive so your brain can absorb it naturally. Here are some of the best options. 1. English conversations. Listening to simple, everyday conversations helps with natural sentence structure and pronunciation. 2. Common phrases and vocabulary. Repeated exposure to basic words and phrases strengthens memory. 3. Slow audiobooks or storytelling. Simple English stories with clear narration are great for listening practice. 4th, guided sleep learning audios. Specially designed audios that repeat words and phrases gently. 5. Positive affirmations in English. Encouraging statements like "I am confident" in English can help with motivation and mindset.
That's a great list. I love the idea of listening to real conversations because it helps learners understand how English is spoken naturally.
Exactly. And when you hear the same phrases repeatedly, your brain starts recognizing them automatically.
That makes sense. But what about background noise? Some people listen to music or white noise when they sleep. Does that help?
Yes, soft background music or white noise can actually make sleep learning more effective because it helps you relax. Some sleep learning audios even combine English words with gentle nature sounds to improve focus.
That sounds perfect. But what about podcasts like this one? Can listening to English podcasts while sleeping help?
Yes, but with one rule: the podcast should be slow and clear. Some podcasts have fast conversations which might be too difficult to process during sleep. It's better to listen to podcasts designed for learners like this one, or ones with simple storytelling.
That's a great tip. So, to sum up, the best things to listen to while sleeping are slow conversations, vocabulary audios, audiobooks, and gentle affirmations, with soft background sounds if needed.
Exactly. Now, if you're wondering how to get the best results from sleep learning, stay with us because next, we'll share the best practices to maximize your learning.
All right. Now that we know what to listen to while sleeping, let's talk about how to get the best results from this technique. Julia, what are some best practices for maximizing learning while sleeping?
Great question, Jason. If you want to make sleep learning truly effective, you need to follow a few key steps. Here are some of the best practices. 1. Listen to familiar content. Your brain learns best when it reinforces information you already know. Don't listen to completely new material. Review words and phrases you've studied before.
That's interesting. So, if I'm learning new vocabulary, I should study it during the day and then listen to it at night?
Exactly. This technique is called re-exposure, and it helps move information from short-term to long-term memory. 2. Keep the audio clear and slow. Avoid fast conversations or complex topics. Choose recordings where speakers talk slowly and clearly. Repetition is key. The more you hear it, the better you remember it.
That makes sense. If the speech is too fast, it might be harder for the brain to process during sleep. 3. Use a sleep timer. Instead of playing audio all night, set a sleep timer for about 1 to 2 hours. This helps prevent disruptions to your deep sleep cycle. Oh, that's a smart tip. Some people think they need to listen all night, but that might not be the best approach. 4. Combine sleep learning with active practice. Sleep learning works best when combined with speaking, writing, and listening practice during the day. Try repeating words and phrases the next morning, to strengthen memory.
Exactly. If you listen at night but never practice during the day, you won't improve much. You need both. 5. Stay consistent. Sleep learning isn't magic. It takes time. Try listening to English every night for a few weeks and see how much you improve.
That's great advice. So, to sum it up, the best practices for sleep learning are: 1. Listen to content you've already studied. 2. Choose slow and clear audio. 3. Use a sleep timer. 4. Combine sleep learning with active practice. 5. Stay consistent.
Yes, if you follow these steps, you'll see real improvements in your English over time.
Amazing! Now that we've covered best practices, let's move on to our next topic: common mistakes to avoid when using sleep learning. Stay with us. We've talked about the science, the best methods, and even common mistakes to avoid. But now, let's hear some real-life success stories. Julia, do you know anyone who has successfully used sleep learning to improve their English?
Yes, Jason. One great example is Emma, a university student from Spain. She struggled with English pronunciation, but she started listening to simple English conversations every night. After just 2 months, she noticed she could understand and repeat phrases more easily.
That's amazing. It really shows how consistent listening can help with fluency.
Exactly. Another story is David from Japan. He wanted to improve his vocabulary but had a busy schedule. So he started listening to English word lists with example sentences while sleeping. Over time, he found that words felt more familiar, and he could recall them faster in conversations.
That's inspiring. It proves that sleep learning isn't just a theory. It actually works if you use it the right way.
Yes, and many people have seen results, but the key is combining sleep learning with active practice during the day.
Absolutely. So, if you're listening to this podcast and wondering if sleep learning works, these real-life success stories show that it does.
Exactly. And coming up next, we'll answer an important question. Can you become fluent just by listening while sleeping? Stay with us.
Wow, we've covered a lot today. From the science of sleep learning to the best practices and even real-life success stories. Let's quickly summarize the key takeaways.
Great idea. Here's what we learned today. Sleep learning works, but it's most effective when combined with active practice. Choose the right content, slow, clear, and repetitive English audio. Use a sleep timer so the audio doesn't disrupt your deep sleep. Review what you learned the next morning to reinforce memory. Stay consistent. Practice this method for several weeks to see real results.
Yes, and remember, sleep learning won't make you fluent overnight, but it's a powerful tool to support your English learning journey.
Exactly. So if you want to improve your English while sleeping, start tonight, pick a simple English conversation, set a sleep timer, and make it a habit.
That's a great challenge. And if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe and share it with other English learners.
Yes, keep practicing, keep listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Happy learning.
Before we wrap up today's episode, we want to remind you to take action. Start using the sleep learning method tonight and see how much it can improve your English.
And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. If you enjoyed today's content, leave us a review. We'd love to hear how sleep learning is working for you.
Also, check out the show notes for links to recommended resources, including sleep-friendly English audiobooks and podcasts.
Thank you for joining us today. Remember, consistency is key, and with a little effort every night, you'll notice big improvements in your English.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Subscribe to my channel.